Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will analyze together an extremely hot and important topic. Is the U.S. economy on the brink of a major crisis in 2026? And more importantly, what should we do to protect our assets right now? Many of us have certainly felt the constant volatility of the market over the past few years. From the shocks caused by the pandemic, to the escalation of inflation, to the continuous interest rate hikes by the U.S. Federal Reserve Fed, all these factors are creating a complex and challenging economic picture. First, let's talk about the biggest weapon that the Fed has used: interest rates. To curb runaway inflation, the Fed has implemented one of the most powerful interest rate hike cycles in history. This has the effect of cooling the economy, but it is also like a double-edged sword. High interest rates cause borrowing costs for businesses and people to skyrocket. Businesses will have to consider more carefully when wanting to expand production and investment. People are more hesitant when borrowing money to buy houses and cars. The flow of money through the economy is tightening, and this is the seed that can lead to a recession. Next, look at the huge burden of U.S. public debt. It has passed $34 trillion and is still growing. As interest rates rise, the cost to the government of servicing this debt also increases, creating huge pressure on the budget. Some experts worry that at some point, this burden will become unsustainable. Another factor that cannot be ignored is the real estate market. High mortgage rates have caused a significant drop in demand for homes. House prices in some areas have begun to level off or even decline after a period of hot growth. If the real estate market experiences problems, it could lead to a drop in consumer spending and cause a domino effect throughout the economy, like what we saw in the 2008 crisis. In addition, the global geopolitical picture is extremely complex. Trade tensions and shifts in global supply chains are all unpredictable factors that could cause unexpected shocks to the U.S. and world economies. Reliance on foreign energy sources and raw materials is also a potential weakness. So, does all this mean that a major crisis is certain to occur in 2026? The answer is that nothing is 100% certain. The U.S. economy is incredibly resilient. There are signs that inflation is cooling and the labor market remains relatively strong. The Fed may also start cutting interest rates to support growth if necessary. However, the risks are real and we cannot be complacent. This is the time when prevention is better than cure. So what should we, individual investors, do to protect our assets against potential instability? First and foremost, diversify your portfolio. Never put all your eggs in one basket. Instead of focusing solely on tech stocks or real estate, consider diversifying your assets across a variety of assets. Gold is often considered a safe haven during times of economic uncertainty. Government bonds, especially when interest rates are high, are also a relatively safe option. Even holding some cash is important so that you have the flexibility to take advantage of market corrections. Second, review your debt. If you have floating rate debt, it is time to consider restructuring or paying it down. High interest rates can cause your debt burden to increase rapidly. Third, keep learning and stay informed. Knowledge is power. Keep up with macroeconomic news, financial reports, and analysis from reputable experts. Understanding what is going on will help you make better decisions instead of acting on emotions or panicking with the crowd. Fourth, build an emergency fund. This fund should be enough to cover your living expenses for at least 3 to 6 months. In case of an unexpected event, such as a job loss or a decrease in income, this fund will be a safety cushion to help you get through the difficult period without having to sell off your investments in a hurry. Finally, keep a cool head and the long-term vision. The market always has ups and downs. The market has always had ups and downs. The most successful investors are those who are patient, do not panic in the short term, and always stick to their investment strategy. If a crisis occurs, it can also bring opportunities to buy good assets at cheap prices. In short, whether or not the scenario of a U.S. economic crisis in 2026 occurs, it is never too much to be prepared and have a solid defense strategy. By diversifying your investments, managing your debt intelligently, improving your knowledge, and maintaining a stable mentality, you can completely protect your achievements and firmly overcome all the storms of the market.
Bun Hone Tonko, the Bo Va Than Qua Cam Chen Va V Wang Vang Vit Quai Mgi Song Jo Ca Thou Trong.
Thank you for taking the time to listen. Hope this analysis will be useful for your financial plan. Don't forget to like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next interesting content. Goodbye and see you again.